What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to the discussion portion of the podcast. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays ask a CISSP, and then Fridays everything else, movies plus games, all that cool stuff. But without further ado, I'll give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. This article comes from healthcareitnews.com by Andrea Fox. And the title of this one is Can Rural Hospitals Face Cybersecurity Risks Alone? Okay. Now, I can imagine this being a very big issue, right? Coming out of COVID. I don't want to say we're 100% removed from it. Like COVID is still a thing, right? But it's not a pandemic like it was, right? But these rural hospitals, like they were taking a hit, right? The staffing ended up taking a cut. People were getting burned out, right? So them facing cybersecurity risks alone, it's one of those things where they're facing manning shortages and the lack of material, not almost say materials, the lack of personnel, I should say, to handle their cybersecurity needs, right? So
Right.
This is one of those things where you saw it go down during COVID, and it was surprisingly so. After reading this article and talking about this for discussion, was something that came out of it that I found kind of weird is that they actually did a survey, and they said that most of the rural healthcare providers are optimistic about their finances. And I'm like, how is that possible, right? Like if you're maybe because they lost the manning, they have more money to do other things, but it's like, which one do you need, right? Like you don't have AI nurses out there yet. Right? You don't have AI doctors out there yet, right? The time was coming more than likely, but it's just not a thing now. So maybe they're not worried about the finances because of different things that they have available to them when it comes to AI, right? And AI tools, I know it seems like I'm 100% totally against them. I'm not. I just don't think they should be the end all be all, right? They do enhance operational efficiencies and things of that nature, right? So with the shrinking labor pool, that does help with what you're trying to do. But yeah.
Right. Now you're Spooner from I Am Robot.
I'm Spoon. I do reference that movie too, right? I like the movie, but I do reference it, right?
You're AIist.
Hey, look, I'd be like, save it, Canner, and just move him out of the way, right? But yeah, no, but eventually he came around, right? Like eventually he saw it's not all bad, right? And again, I'm not saying it's all bad, but I think AI is being used as the tool to reduce human interaction in a lot of things where it doesn't necessarily need to be the case, especially when it comes to rural hospitals, right? So what you're going to end up with is, and people say this a lot, like you have deserts, like you have food deserts where grocery stores aren't present, right? Like you can have the same thing with medical, where it's a medical desert, right? People, like they can shut down these rural hospitals if the usage of them doesn't justify the cost that's going into them, right? And then you have an issue where people are coming from way out of nowhere, driving an hour and a half to get emergency services. That shouldn't be the case, right? An hour and a half is the difference between life and death for some of these people that are out there, depending on the medical episodes you may be having, right? So can they face cybersecurity risks alone? No, I don't think they do. Even though they are optimistic about their finances, I don't think this is something that they can face alone without the government, right? And local governments and civilian companies even addressing cyber attacks and things of that nature, right? So, but yeah, this is the point of this all, right? Going through this whole long-winded thing, right? Microsoft did a rural hospital cybersecurity landscape report talking about this. It is a dire situation out there. The cyber hygiene that these rural hospitals have out there, they can get offered free assessments, free security assessments and things of that nature. By a pre-vetted security partner, which is a good thing, but they shouldn't have to go at it alone, and I don't think they could survive it if they weren't, right? So like you have in the article they reference, I think it was 375, I think was the number. Let's see if I can find it here. 375 rural hospitals have asked for help by taking the free assessment. So there's an assessment that says, hey, test your cyber hygiene to see how good you're doing. And 375 rural hospitals were like, yeah, we want to take advantage of this, right? Which is a good sign, right? Because it could have been a smaller number to where it was like, we don't care about it, but they do. Obviously they do. But it's the simple things, right? Patching, making sure you have antivirus protection, things of that nature. Because again, they are a soft target. We're seeing it happen. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so when I think about this article, I kind of think about my local area. So I live kind of still in a rural area. It's being developed, thousands of houses and people, and they're continuously building more infrastructure where I'm at. But we have a lot of hospitals because I guess you have to have so many. Once you hit a population of so many, or you're projected at a population of so many, they build a hospital in your area, right? So when we initially moved here 9 years ago, I want to say, we had one hospital, decent size, never used it, right? Because we're a military family, so we didn't have to. And then they built another one while I was gone in Turkey. So when I left, it was under construction. When I came back, brand new hospital. So I started to think like, okay, well, if I'm going to transition from the military, maybe I want to do cybersecurity in a hospital, and it's right down the street, so I don't have to go that far. And then after I did some research, I found out that you don't necessarily belong to that hospital, right? You belong to whatever HQ, yeah, to a network, and you will probably be going there, right? So I'll be traveling far away because they're based out of, or I should say, they're headquartered out of downtown. So I'd have to travel. So I was like, nope, no, thank you for that one. However, this past year they started building another hospital. So the first one was maybe 6 miles away. The second one is now 8 miles away, and now this new one will be maybe 4 miles away. Because we're just very growth heavy. Like there's just tons of people moving down here, and they're just getting bigger and bigger, more and more houses and subdivisions and things of that nature. But it's still pretty like legitimately across the street from this new hospital is an area where they graze cows, right? So it's still rural, still being built up, but there has to be a lot of money into it, and they have to believe that they're going to get a lot of nurses and doctors to fill those seats. So I was like, if there's a doctor and nurse shortage, where are they going to get the staff from? But it's still developing.
So the
So
thing is, you're rural comparative to your area, right? So like the amount of thousands that you have may not be considered rural for, out in Arkansas somewhere, right? Or
right,
Mississippi
middle of
somewhere.
nowhere
But
place. Yeah,
compared to where you are in Florida, yeah, you're rural, right? Like you're 10,000 people, I'm guessing at the number. I don't know what it
right.
is.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, way disproportionate from downtown
Right.
Tampa
Right.
to up here. But yeah, they're continuously developing and growing. So it makes me believe that like perhaps the pipeline's starting to fill back up with clinicians and things of that nature to staff these hospitals. Because what would be the point of building it if you can't staff it? It's just a building full of sick people potentially, no help. What you're saying about AI, I think is spot on though. I think there are a lot of people who are speculating, right? Like futurists are saying like, okay, we can get rid of medical records personnel. We get rid of X, Y, and Z, become more efficient because of AI. The tech's not there yet. You still need a lot of human beings to make up a hospital. And we'll talk about it on Friday. I watched another hospital show, and I'm learning stuff through this show. I'm like, I didn't know there was a person who did that, right? And they're understaffed, so it's like I didn't know this person overlapped and did this, right? And it's certain things are taken out of context. Like there's a couple episodes where Shapiro was like, a nurse would not do that. that would not be that would not be a nurse's duty. So I was like, oh, okay. So they take liberty every now and then on the show, but it does go to show how efficient it already is based upon the what they're going through when it comes to staff and population growth. So I can only imagine there's someone out there saying, oh yeah, AI will be able to take care of this and that, and you really can't. Like especially when people are sick or hurt. And you need to make quick decisions, you're going to need a person in the loop. Like maybe that person's not there. Maybe they're remote. I could see that. Or maybe you have like doctors who are able to log in, but you still have to have somebody with human eyes to determine, okay, here's the circumstance, here's what's going on, and then here are all the other information around me. And AI can augment that person. But ultimately, I don't want, and I could be AIist, right? I barely want to go to a teaching hospital, let alone AI working on me, right? Like making a determination of what I believe should be a human being in the situation, kind of determining, like, okay, because I think of like trauma, not like something that's like long term, like I need a surgery or operation, but I think like you get hit by a bus. I want a person, I want a team of people to take care of me, as opposed to WebMD with ChatGPT built into it. It just makes me uncomfortable.
You gotta be careful, WebMD, man, because everything leads back to cancer with it.
Everything is cancer.
Everything.
Yeah, I don't mess with weapons because I'm a hypochondriac. So I'm gonna have whatever is on that piece of paper, right? So I barely read the side effects. I read just enough to make sure in case something's wrong with me, I can tell them like, hey, I'm having an adverse reaction. But you read all the details, there's always a bunch of like crazy side effects, and I'm gonna get these if I read this. So, but yeah, it makes me a little bit.
Did you say I'm gonna get this if I read this? Did I hear that
Yeah, I'm
right?
gonna get it if I read it. Like funny story. So I was taking a medicine when I was in Alaska, and it was a brand new medicine they put me on. And I'm talking about I coughed for a month straight. I thought I just had like an upper respiratory thing happening. Like I'm talking about my abs were on point. I was coughing so much. And then I ran to an older friend of the family, and he heard me coughing. He was like, hey, do you take such and such? And I was like, yeah. He was like, I took that medicine. It made me cough just like you. And then, sure enough, it was on the list of side effects. You could get this, develop this cough, but I don't read those because I'm like, I'm gonna get that. So it's hilarious. Yeah, he got like, I would say he didn't save me, right? I wasn't dying, but my abs hurt from all the coughing I was doing. I don't even know how we got here, but it makes for good podcasting. Yeah, but when it comes to cyber hygiene, like I'm a little nervous about the cuts and what have you, only because of everybody being so leaning so hard on AI. Because I use it as well. Like I love AI, I love GPTs, I love what they're doing with deep research and all that other good stuff through OpenAI, and I'm sure Llama and all the other ones are also doing amazing things. But again, I'm concerned. I don't think you should remove a person from the SOC or whatever the hospital has as well, right? I think you just need a person always in the loop for situational awareness and to make those human type determinations. Like, yes, it will augment people, but I just don't think it should be parsing logs to help me not to have to parse logs, but it should not be making uh, determinations on changing rules and configuration things of that nature without asking a person first, in my opinion. But I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who would disagree, especially business owners, right? Because it's a lot cheaper to license something as opposed to paying a person with benefits and things of that nature. Like AI doesn't need health benefits, doesn't need a 401k. But also, I think that just causes the price of a license to go up. Like, yeah, it's cheaper, but where's the cap space? How much are you saving on a person? So how much can I nudge this product up to still make it beneficial to you, but still extract as much money as possible, right? So I just don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll see. But definitely continue to tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays ask a CISSP, Fridays everything else, movies, books, games, all that cool stuff, and then hit up all the websites to go by our name, The Other Side of the Firewall, The Other Side of the FW, or Ask a CISSP. You can find me on all the platforms, but I'm most active on LinkedIn under RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. Hit me up and let me know what you think about the podcast and all that good stuff. And I always forget to say this: if you can leave a rating, please do so. Our I forget what it's called. It's like listener score is very high. Like we're like in the top 10%, but we don't have a lot of ratings. So then it tanks. Like it's disproportionate. Got a lot of listeners, not a lot of feedback. So please leave us some feedback wherever you can. Leave us some stars. I prefer a 5-star possible, but I'll take whatever I can get. Stay safe, stay secure.